Hey loves, so I've been asked to talk about how I got into running. I've been sharing a lot about my runs and I've been breaking them down, and I'm actually in the process of training. Well, I'm done training for a 10K and I signed up for a 10K race in New York. It's going to be in Brooklyn in April. And so basically back in 2012, a little over a year after I had my son, JJ, Joel Jr., I was talking to one of my sorority sisters who at that time wasn't my sorority sister. No, this wasn't 2012. This was 2013. Sorry. At the time, she wasn't my sorority sister yet. But she was telling me about, we were talking about fitness and stuff like that. And I was telling her how I was like in the 190s. I was probably like 192-ish, and I couldn't get past that, and she suggested running. Now, I'd never been a runner. I've never run. I've always been a bigger girl, and it wasn't until college that I lost a lot of weight. I went from 215 in my sophomore year to the 160s by the end of college when I graduated. And so I never thought that I could run. It wasn't something I had done. I was athletic. I had done a lot of sports. I even was on a volleyball team in high school, but running wasn't something that I really thought I could do. I remember trying out for the track team once and I was gonna die. So anyway, she told me about it and I thought she was crazy because it wasn't something I felt I could do. And she basically like really pushed me into it. She was like, you can run. Like, there's ways to get yourself into running, and there's programs, online programs, there's apps on your phone, you know, magazines about running where you can get a lot of information. You want to get down? Where you can get a lot of information about running, and there are app coaches that can train you. So I'd never heard of such a thing ever. She told me to download this app that's called C2 5K, which basically stands for Couch to 5K, and it's an app that I downloaded, and I downloaded the one by ZenLabs. I went to the gym that day and I set up the app and I followed the program, and it's basically like a 14-week, is it 14 week? Is it 10 week? And in 10 weeks, the goal is to get you to be able to run a 5K or to just run for 30 minutes without stopping. You know, for most people who aren't runners, running a 30-minute 5K isn't practical. So for me personally, the app was really helpful because it taught me about breaks in running. Like, I always just imagined that somebody would just run straight through, and when you start running, like, you know, you think that way. You think like you have to just run. And that's not the case, and the app really makes you aware of that. Like, run and then walk when you need a break, and run again and walk when you need a break, and run again and walk when you need a break. And the first like week of the app, you do that. So the app has it broken down where you run 3 days a week. And in the first week, it's 60 seconds run, 60 seconds walk, 60 seconds run, 60-second walk, and it repeats like 5 times. You have a 5-minute warm up and a 5-minute cool down on every run, no matter what week it is. And then each week, the ratio of how much you run and how much you walk changes. So the app really helps you basically to build up stamina and endurance to be able to handle a run while including breaks so that you have time to recuperate, and you don't stop, you just walk. So it was very helpful for me. The app also has prompts like begin walking, start running, begin walking, start running, and it says you're halfway and you have 1 minute left, and like all those little prompts really help to make you motivated and to keep pushing yourself, because it's really inspiring. Like, you feel so motivated to have something, you know, kind of like encouraging you on. And at first I used the app on the treadmill because I believe it was cold March when I first got introduced to it. And then I was living in Brooklyn, and as the weather got warmer, I started running outdoors. I had invested in the Nike running app watch, and I would track my run on the GPS of the watch, and I was running like 12 miles down Brooklyn at that point, just off of doing the app. So now I've had my daughter and I picked back up into the running, and I no longer just run, you know, the 30 minutes. I decided to upgrade and graduate myself to the 10K app, also by the same company, ZenLabs, and both apps are free, by the way. So it pretty much has the first 9 weeks of the C to 5K built into it, and then from 9 to week 14 is the 10K part where you start training to run longer distances. Much harder, obviously, to run 6 miles than it is to run 3 miles. I think it's harder physically as well, mentally as well. But yeah, now I'm at the point where I'm running 6 miles as my long run. I'm running 8 miles as a long run. And like I said, I wasn't a runner. So I finished the app with as far as training goes, where I'm following the schedule of when to run and when to walk, and now I'm just kind of doing my own thing. And for me, I find that taking breaks is going to be a part of it for me. Like running straight for 60 minutes, which I've done once, just isn't comfortable. And my goal honestly isn't to be timed. Like I'm not looking to run and be done on 6 miles in 60 minutes. That's not my goal. My goal is to run 6 miles. There's a very big difference between I want to do it within a time frame and I just want to do it. So there's days when I will do my 5-minute warm up and then I'll run to a mile and walk for a minute, run to a mile, walk for a minute, run 2 miles, walk for a minute, run the last mile. There's times when I'll do a timed run. I'm going to do my 5-minute warm up, and then from 5 minutes, I'm going to run for 20 minutes, and then I'll take a break. And then I'll run for another 20 minutes and take a break. And then if at that point I'm still not at 6 miles, I'll run for another 20 minutes. Or if it only needs 10 more minutes, I'll run for 10 more minutes, like whatever it is. There's times when I've walked a half mile, run a mile, and at that point I'm at 1.5. Then I'll walk a half mile, and now I'm at 2, and then I'll run a 1.5 miles, and that will put me at 3.5, and then I'll do the same thing until I get to 6. So I do have different ways of getting to my 6 miles. I'm not following the program anymore because, like I said, I've already done it, and I'm at the point where I have enough stamina to sustain myself to run 6 miles and not feel like, oh my God, I'm done, because now I can run 6 miles and then still go do weight training. So it took me a while to get there. I started the 10K trainer in September, and now it's February, and I am really good at it. I'm running and no problem. I'm seeing tons and tons of improvements in my body. You guys probably noticed I look super slender. As I'm filming this video, I'm about 192 pounds, but I don't look it, and I do a lot of weightlifting and weight training and running. Running has really toned up my legs. I'll show you pictures from my Instagram. You can see my legs look really defined, in my compression pants, that is. But I've loved running now. I get runner's high. I've been only running on a treadmill because it is very cold and it is very icy and snowy here. But once I have that opportunity to go back outside, I will, which is what I was doing in September and October. I was running outdoors. So I'll be outdoors again very soon. Yeah, pretty much that's really it. So let me know if you have any more questions, but that's how I got into running, and that's how I run. And I track my runs on the Nike Plus running app. If you want to join me there, my name is Jenell B Stewart or Jenell Stewart. I forget if I had the B or not. But I do the challenges. People always invite me to challenges, and I do them. In October, I ran 21.9 miles in total. In November, I ran 35.9 miles in total. So that was a big increase. In from November to December, I went from 35.9 miles to 60.9 miles. That was also because in December the 10K increased in amount of time running. It was like, I remember there were some weeks where I would have to run for 18 minutes, a 1-minute break, and I would do that 3 times. So I was running for like an hour and 20 minutes sometimes. And in January, I did 83.2. So your girl gets the miles in, yes. So we'll see what my February running streak will look like. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, leave them below. Share my videos with others, and subscribe. And as always, I love you for watching. Bye.
Behinds grabbing the wrong, catch up, weapons against me can't prosper. Armor of God is much stronger than the army of y'all. I'm ready for war. After that, I'm ready to ball, and after that.